Right now at 6, it's the most impactful storm of the season thus far.
Radar continues to show the snow increasing in coverage and intensity.
Our Weather Action Day coverage continues with impressive snow totals and getting you prepared for tomorrow's commute.
An elaborate plan to carry out violence in Boulder and in California is stopped.
We identified thousands of references to violence, stating things such as killing, death, murder, shootings, bombs.
Plus, Louisville's plan to create a more green city might have to be put on hold.
No one should have to choose between an energy-efficient home and an affordable one.
We begin with our Denver 7 Weather Action Day and snow falling across the Front Range. We have a live look here at the conditions across the area. And my friends, this is just the beginning. It's going to get a lot worse this evening and overnight. Glad you're with us tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm Shannon Ogden.
And I'm Jessica Porter. Well, this storm will dump most of its snow overnight, meaning the morning commute could be trouble.
And we have team coverage just for you. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson has the track of the storm. We begin with Ivan Rodriguez on conditions up in Broomfield. Ivan?
Shannon, we've been in Broomfield for the last couple of hours now, and we've seen the snow continue to accumulate. I'm standing right in front of Highway 36. Traffic has been moving slowly for most of the afternoon into the evening hours, especially heading toward Denver. When all is said and done here in Broomfield, we could see more than about 8 inches of snow. On top of that, temperatures are already dropping and it feels a lot colder. Temperatures here right now in Broomfield are about 22 degrees right now. I have seen some snowplows already out on the highway as a lot of those cars continue their commute home. CDOT is also asking people that if they don't have to go out and drive during that heavy part of the snowstorm, just stay home if you can. Mike?
Ivan, it's been quite a good storm already coming in Denver, maybe an hour or two late, but certainly starting right about lunchtime in Boulder and earlier up in Fort Collins. There's nobody out of the Pearl Street Mall, right? Well, one person there walking carefully. You can see the bands of snow. The heavier areas and the darker colors have been shifting a little bit more to the east, and there's a trend toward that. We're getting some stronger upslope conditions to the east of I-25, which may bump up the snow totals over Aurora and much of the Front Range. Now, the areas that we see in pink, that is the winter storm warning, and that continues until midnight Thursday. The winter weather advisory is in the blue until midnight Thursday, and they are all across the eastern part of the state and down into the San Juan Mountains, especially down toward Wolf Creek. They might see 2 feet of snow. Temperatures are falling. They're in the 20s now. We won't see those numbers again for a while because really cold air is coming in. It's 11 currently up at Laramie. So our headlines, the snow increasing, the temperatures decreasing, below zero by Thursday morning with difficult driving conditions tonight, all day tomorrow, and likely into Thursday morning as well. Full details on how much snow to expect in your neighborhood coming up in about 15 minutes.
All right, thank you, Mike. And already school districts have started canceling class for tomorrow ahead of the storm. So far, Poudre schools, Littleton schools, Greeley Evans District 6 have all canceled class for tomorrow. CSU also closed for tomorrow. And more than 100 flights for tomorrow have already been canceled at DIA. And as more closures come in, the Denver 7 Plus app will be your friend. Download it now for your phone or streaming device. You can access 24/7 weather stream, and make sure to watch Denver 7 News tomorrow morning starting at 4:30 for the very latest closures and how this will impact your morning commute.
New video tonight shows Boulder police arresting a former UCLA lecturer accused of making serious online threats against his former university. Police say Matthew Harris posted videos online referencing the Las Vegas mass shooting and even Columbine High School. They found an 800-page manifesto where Harris wanted to carry out violence in Boulder. Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kovaleski joining us live in the studio tonight with new details. Tony, court documents show a restraining order was filed last year against Harris.
Exactly, Jessica. The more they learned, the more concerned state and federal investigators became. Within the hour, we just obtained the California criminal records for Matthew Harris. The restraining order came after Harris emailed a professor saying he would hunt her down and, quote, put bullets in her head. That 800-page manifesto made it clear this guy was a serious threat.
31-year-old Matthew Harris was taken into custody just 24 hours after UCLA police received those threats against the philosophy department at that university. When Boulder police got word he was now in their city, the race to track him down was on. That manifesto making his capture even more urgent.
Upon reviewing parts of the manifesto, we identified thousands of references to violence, stating things such as killing, death, murder, shootings, bombs, schoolyard massacre in Boulder, and phrases like burn and attack Boulder outside of the university.
Authorities also confirm Harris attempted to buy a gun in Colorado last November.
There was a national database that included a provision that he was not allowed to purchase or possess a firearm. Based on that, we believe at this point.
Doherty says Harris does have connections in Boulder, but stops short of offering any detail. Right now, both state and federal charges are being considered against Harris.
Police did evacuate a nearby elementary school and a shelter-in-place order to dozens of homes and apartments until police made their arrest this afternoon. UCLA police say Harris was recently placed on leave from the university after complaints from students about his lectures. Shannon?
All right, Tony Kovaleski tonight. Thank you, Tony. The Denver Fire Department's deputy chief is stepping down as second in command. Jeremy Viel was arrested this weekend in Arvada on suspicion of DUI. Denver Fire spokesperson says Vigil was in a department car at the time, but off the clock. And Denver 7 has learned that Vigil refused to take a breathalyzer and a blood test. Now, he's not quit the department, just stepped down from his position. Denver Fire is deciding what steps to take next. Barry Morphew's murder trial now has been moved to Fremont County. A judge decided today that Morphew could not receive a fair trial in Chaffee County. Now, Barry Morphew is accused of murdering his wife, Suzanne, in May of 2020. The trial now expected to begin May 3rd.
Hundreds of Douglas County teachers are expected to walk out of class and rally Thursday afternoon. They're angry over how the school board has handled the direction of the district. Their concerns stem from the alleged attempt to force the resignation of Superintendent Corey Wise. 3 board members held a public Zoom meeting last night, saying the 4 other members conspired to force Wise to resign this week or take actions to dismiss him. The school board is also changing directions on mask mandates and the equity policy. The head of the teachers union says there is a lot of anger over board members doing this in private.
Louisville has a plan to make the city greener. Now, any other time this probably would be appreciated, but right now it's seen as unreasonable. Denver 7's Russell Haythorne spoke to Marshall fire victims hoping for an exemption.
The stories of loss are still raw.
Back there where you can see all the plumbing and wires, up a level was the kitchen.
And heartbreaking.
It definitely felt like a war zone, didn't feel like home.
Now comes the daunting task of rebuilding.
This is going to be an awfully difficult recovery. Rebuilding costs will be up somewhere between 25 and 30% since just before the pandemic.
Adding to the fear and anxiety of it all is Louisville's Green Building Initiative, adopted by City Council last fall.
The crux of it is to make sure that our homes are ready to utilize electricity as opposed to gas.
It requires new homes to be net zero emissions, which means Energy Star appliances, higher insulation values, solar panels or solar credits, and many other requirements, including vehicle charging stations within the garage.
1 per space. So if you have a 2-car garage, you're talking to 2 vehicle charging.
Fire victims like Christian Dino, Joseph Reed, and others say it's too much. They say it was written for a handful of new homes being built by individuals with the means to build new homes.
This was intended for the 5 or 6 homes that are being constructed in a year's time, not 600 people that are homeless.
Grieving and suffering.
Councilman Kyle Brown lost 200 homes in his ward and says the city understands.
So we are absolutely listening to the concerns of the community. No one should have to choose between an energy efficient home and an affordable one.
But Brown says the bigger issue is homeowners who were underinsured.
Underinsurance is the single largest problem. If my home had been lost, I know we personally would have been hundreds of thousands of dollars uninsured.
Both Dino and Reed believe they were underinsured.
We're short $300,000 to $350,000.
The minority outliers are those that are properly insured.
Brown says the green codes will add about $20,000 to the overall cost of rebuilding. Dino, who works in construction, says no way. He believes it's closer to $50,000, maybe even $100,000. And he and others are asking the city to pause the program for fire victims.
I think it's horribly insensitive for city government to believe that this is acceptable to be adding this amount of cost.
Russell Haythorne, Denver 7.
And Louisville City Council is meeting about this right now. And if you'd like to tune in, it's a virtual meeting. We have a link included on our website. So just go to thedenverchannel.com and click on this story.
One of the things we keep saying is like, well, nobody's dying alone. We're letting them in at time of death. Well, that is far too little and far too late.
The pandemic has forced families to grieve from afar. State lawmakers say it's time to bring them back together.
At some point in time, we have to be unified in the way we treat people.
The Bolins find something they can agree on: money, and a lot of it. What's next in the search for a new Broncos owner? That's after the break.
Snow increasing, getting heavy, roads getting poor as temperatures tumble tonight.